Did you see your game on the weekend, mate? Do you feel like you're coming into some of your best form for the season so far? Your stats are looking pretty good the last few games.
Yeah, it was obviously nice to contribute a little bit on the weekend, and obviously play 2 full games in a row has been nice after a few games in the sub role, and obviously coming back from a calf injury as well. But it always helps when you're winning.
For sure. Was there a bit of motivation on the weekend to put the Bombers in their place? There's been a lot of talk about how they turned the corner. Does that come into your calculations when you're coming into a game like that?
Oh, I wouldn't sort of word it like that. I mean, the Bombers are going really well this season, and I think we were just more focused on our game, and I think really turning the screws on that and making sure that we come into the game ready to sort of go from the start. And I think we really did that initially, and the boys came out firing at the start, and we were able to sort of surge the ball forward and put some scoreboard impact on early, and that pressure builds over a certain amount of time in a game, and then we're able to continue that, which was nice.
I feel like the team's hitting sort of close to peak form coming up against Brisbane on their home deck.
Oh, absolutely. Brisbane are probably the form side of the competition at the moment. I really admire what they're doing up there in Queensland, and I can't wait personally to get back there and play in Queensland again for the second time this year. And we're really looking forward to the challenge. I mean, it'll be a great test for us, but at the moment the league's so tight as it is, so every game, every week's a real challenge.
There's a lot of teams that struggle at the Gabba in those conditions, but you might be one of the few that manages to do all right.
Yeah, I guess I could say the same coming down here as well. Every ground, every sort of condition is different all over Australia. So it might be a bit more dewy up there and a bit more slippery, but other than that, I think we'll adapt well.
How do you adjust? You sort of mentioned it before about the weather. I've just moved down from Darwin, so I know how you feel. How are you adjusting to the cold? And it's your first ever winter, you were saying? Yeah,
first winter. I think it's actually been not too bad. We've sort of come down here expecting the worst, and sort of when you expect the worst, sometimes it actually ends up all right. So it's actually been pretty good. We've had pretty lucky training days and stuff like that, but it's obviously freezing cold compared to what I'm used to.
Yeah, any major sort of differences between the previous system and this one? The coaching, anything that really stands out that you think is better here than at your previous club?
Both clubs do things really well, and then obviously some clubs do things a lot differently. And down here, I felt welcome from the start. Sort of completely different game plan, different system, sort of different programs and stuff like that. I took a little bit to get used to at the start, and I really feel like I'm thriving in this environment at the moment. And I just feel really grateful for the opportunity I got down here.
Was there a bit of homesickness at the start? It sounds like it was a bit of a transition period there for you.
Not really, to be honest. I was actually really looking forward to a change and an opportunity to come down here and learn off some of the great players down here at Geelong. Obviously coming off a premiership last year, I thought it was a great opportunity to come and learn from the best. And life's short, isn't it? Like living in the same sport your whole life. I actually really enjoy the opportunity to come down and try something new, and I'm really embracing the environment down here and the AFL lifestyle.
Did you know much about Geelong before?
Not really. Like from afar, I was obviously really admired the culture and the brand of footy they played, and the organisation. They're always contending, always up there at the back end of the year, and obviously plenty of great players have come and gone through here. Met a few of them at my time at the Suns when they came up as well. It's been a bit of back and forth with players at each club, so yeah.
But the place itself, did you know much about the place?
No, not a lot.
A bit of an awakening, to move here?
Yeah, I never really liked coming here in away games. I always thought it was a tough trip. Obviously, I think opposition teams struggle with the ground. Obviously a bit skinnier and different conditions. Obviously, a bit more of a hostile environment with the crowd and stuff like that. So, always found it really hard playing down here, but being on the other side is really nice as well.
Who's been really helpful to you? You mentioned, looking at the players and the list from afar and all the experience in the group. Who's sort of taken you under their wing or been helpful to you personally since you've been here?
Initially, Paddy was really good with helping me sort of transition here, and down back at the moment, Tom Stewart's been really helpful in my development. Mitch Duncan's been great as well. So, there's so many leaders, it's hard to actually, point out any specific ones, but majority of the list, there's so much leadership, so much experience. Just picking the brains off any of the players has been really enjoyable.
I've noticed a bit of a change in the rhetoric or the messaging, particularly coming from Scotty in the last few weeks, where he's come out sort of firing after the win, saying, we're the danger, you know, we're the team to beat. And Brad Scott, even after the game, said he thought that you guys were the best team they've faced all season. Has there been that kind of change within the group? Like, obviously, there was a lot about, at the start of the year, there was a lot said about the start to the season, but now that you are where you are, is that the kind of messaging that the group's sort of feeling, that you know, you're the danger, you're the team to beat?
Yeah, I honestly believe in that totally. I mean, when I first came into the club, there's always been that belief that we are one of the best teams in the competition, and at our best we can sort of match it and beat anyone. So I think going into this back half of the year, we've had a real focus on that and making sure that, you know, we come up against some of these really strong sides and make sure we perform and put our best foot forward. So yeah, I believe that. I believe in what Scotty's saying, and you know, it's all good to talk about it, but I think out in the field, the actions are what count most, and we've been able to do that the last few weeks. So hopefully we can continue that.
Would clarity of message be one of his strong suits? I mean, we just see him from outside the club, but he seems like a really clear communicator. Would that be one of his great strengths, do you feel? Yeah,
Scotty articulates his message really well. He's obviously a very intelligent man. In his meetings and stuff like that, I could sort of listen to them all day. He's really in depth. He's got a clear understanding of what we need from him, and you know, the game plan and stuff like that is really in depth, and I actually really enjoy listening to him, and his messaging is really clear. Yeah.
And what's he said to you about your, you know, trajectory? As you mentioned, you know, it can be quite tricky to come to a new environment and be patient while you work out your place within the team. But what's he said to you about what he hopes for you and what he's planning out there?
Personally, just making sure I find my feet in the side, and just being versatile in my role. Being able to play multiple positions has helped, and yeah, he's sort of just told me to go play to my strengths, and you know, believe myself, and that the team's got my back.
You mentioned that you had the calf injury. What's the worst aspect about being sidelined, do you feel? Obviously you're not out there, but what are the biggest frustrations, do you feel? Especially when you're at a new club.
Oh, watching from the sidelines. I mean, I'm not a great watcher, no. I get a lot more anxious watching than I do actually playing, so I feel like you lose that control on what the game's doing. And I mean, I've had a few injuries in my career, and I've always just looked at it as an opportunity to get better in other parts of my game, and sort of spin it as a positive, because if you get too caught in, you know, the day-to-day life of rehab and stuff like that, you can sort of miss an opportunity to get better, and you know, the game doesn't wait for you, so you've got to make sure you're always on your toes and coming at it, and yeah, getting ready to go.
Have you had many chats with Jeremy Cameron about his return and how it went after that nasty incident a few weeks ago?
I've had brief discussions with Jez about it. Obviously, a pretty big knock, and I think he's handled it really well. Came in on the weekend and had a strong impact. He's one of the most courageous players I've played with. So, yeah, hopefully he can string a few more games together and build on his form.
Jeb Hughes, is he far away, do you know? Do you get told much about when it comes to injuries with other players? Do you get involved too much, or you just worry about your own station?
I like checking in with the boys and making sure they're going all right personally, but from a time frame point of view, I'm not too sure, sorry.
It's not an easy run home for you. I mean, you're probably peaking at the right time, I suppose. You've got some good teams coming up in the next few weeks. Do you feel, are you looking forward to those challenges? And are you, I suppose it's not a bad time of the season, given how you're playing, to come up against the best sides in the comp?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to come up against the best sides in the comp. Obviously, with the ladder position at the moment, there's so many teams vying for that top 8 position, top 4 position. I think the beauty is that we get to play sides that are in real good form coming into the back end of the year, and if we're able to knock them off, we actually take points off them as well, and we're able to climb the ladder if we are able to perform. So, you know, playing good sides coming into finals is going to help and keep us in good stead, I think.
So what's the highlight been so far of your time in Geelong?
Highlight? I've just loved coming to work, to be honest. I've just loved being here, love improving, getting better every day. Highlight off the field's probably the golf courses. I've really enjoyed playing golf down here. And just meeting new people, and just really enjoying the environment.